Leonardo da Vinci is celebrated as one of the greatest painters of all time. But beyond the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, he was also an inventor, engineer, and dreamer who imagined technologies centuries before they became real. His notebooks are filled with flying machines, underwater gear, weapons, robots, and strange contraptions that looked impossible in the 1400s. Yet when modern engineers recreated them, many turned out to work exactly as he imagined. In this video, we'll uncover Da Vinci's weirdest inventions that weren't just sketches. They actually worked. The self-propelled cart. Today, we think of cars as an invention of the modern world, but Leonardo da Vinci imagined self-moving vehicles more than 500 years ago. In his notebooks, he drew a strange wooden cart that required no horses to pull it. Instead, it used tightly wound springs connected to gears and levers. When the springs were released, they transferred their stored energy to the wheels, propelling the cart forward. This design was revolutionary because it wasn't just a simple wagon. Leonardo added steering and braking systems, making it the earliest ancestor of the automobile. In fact, the cart could even be programmed to follow a specific path by adjusting the gears, almost like the first robotic vehicle in history. For centuries, it existed only as a drawing. But in 2006, Italian engineers built a replica using only Renaissance-era materials. To their amazement, the cart worked exactly as Leonardo intended. It rolled forward smoothly and proved that his design was not just theoretical. This invention shows how Da Vinci thought far ahead of his time. While most people were still relying on horses, he was already imagining machines that could move on their own. A vision of automation centuries before it became real. The scuba suit Venice canals, parchment sketch transforming into animation of a diver in a leather suit with breathing tubes. Waves and underwater sounds fade in. In the 1400s, the seas were the highways of the world. Merchant ships carried spices, silk and treasures across the Mediterranean, while war fleets clashed to control trade routes. But Leonardo da Vinci, always thinking beyond the ordinary, imagined a new way to fight naval battles. Not from above the water, but from beneath it. One of his most unusual designs was a full-body leather diving suit. At first glance, it looked like something from a science fiction movie. A stitched outfit complete with a mask and long tubes. These tubes connected to a floating bell on the water's surface that stored air. The idea was simple, but ingenious. As long as the tubes stayed above water, the diver could breathe while staying submerged. The suit even included a pouch to hold tools or to collect air in case of emergencies. Leonardo's notes suggested that the suit was not meant for exploration or curiosity, but for war. He imagined soldiers secretly swimming beneath enemy ships, cutting holes into their wooden hulls and sinking them from below. This would have been a terrifying advantage in battle. An invisible underwater army attacking without warning. For centuries, the scuba suit was dismissed as just another wild idea scribbled in his notebooks. But when modern divers and engineers reconstructed it, they discovered it could actually work. Divers wearing replicas were able to breathe underwater and move around effectively, proving that Leonardo had grasped the fundamentals of underwater breathing centuries before scuba tanks were invented. What's most impressive is that Leonardo didn't have modern pumps, air tanks, or oxygen systems. He relied only on materials available in the Renaissance: leather, wood, and simple valves. Yet the design shows a deep understanding of human physiology and the challenges of surviving underwater. Today, scuba diving is used for science, exploration, and recreation. But in the 15th century, Leonardo saw it as a tactical weapon. His scuba suit reminds us of how his mind worked. He wasn't only an artist painting portraits, but also a visionary imagining new ways humans could conquer the elements. Just as he dreamed of flying in the skies, he also dreamed of walking beneath the sea. The robot knight. A knight in armor on parchment, gears overlaying, then morphing into a 3D animation of the knight moving its arms and head. Leonardo da Vinci's imagination was not limited to machines of war or transportation. He also dreamed of creating artificial life. In the late 1400s, while working for the Duke of Milan, he designed something extraordinary: a mechanical knight. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary suit of armor, but hidden inside were a series of gears, pulleys, and cables carefully arranged to mimic the movement of the human body. When activated, the knight could sit upright, raise its arms, move its head, and even open and close its jaw. For the people of the Renaissance, who had never seen anything like this, it must have felt as if a statue had magically come to life. Leonardo's design wasn't just for entertainment, it demonstrated his deep understanding of anatomy and mechanics. He had spent years dissecting human bodies, studying how muscles and tendons worked, and translating that knowledge into machines. The robot knight was the perfect combination of art and science, a machine that looked human and moved like one. For centuries, this invention remained forgotten in Leonardo's notebooks. But in 2002, roboticist Mark Roshheim built a working replica based on Leonardo's sketches. To the amazement of the modern world, it functioned exactly as described. The knight could indeed perform basic human-like movements, confirming that Leonardo had created one of the earliest humanoid robots in history. What makes this even more fascinating is how forward-thinking it was. Robotics wouldn't become a serious field until the 20th century, yet Leonardo had already explored the concept in the 15th century. His mechanical knight paved the way for the idea of machines designed to imitate human behavior. Imagine the reaction of a Renaissance audience watching the knight for the first time. At a time when people believed in magic, spirits, and omens, a moving suit of armor must have been both thrilling and terrifying. But for Leonardo, it was proof of what human ingenuity could achieve when guided by curiosity and science. The mechanical knight stands as one of his most remarkable inventions because it connects directly to our modern age. Today, we build robots that assist in surgery, explore other planets, or even entertain us. Leonardo's knight was the ancestor of them all. It shows that even 500 years ago, one man had already begun dreaming of a robotic future. The armored tank, turtle-shaped tank rolling across a battlefield, smoke rising as cannons fire. One of Leonardo da Vinci's most fearsome designs was his armored tank. Imagine a giant turtle made of wood and metal, bristling with cannons sticking out in every direction. Inside, a crew of soldiers would turn cranks, moving the vehicle slowly across the battlefield. The idea was simple. An unstoppable war machine that terrified enemies and fired volleys without exposing its crew. The tank looked like something out of science fiction for the 15th century. But there was one problem. When modern engineers studied his sketches, they realized Leonardo had drawn the gears in reverse. This meant the wheels would spin against each other and the tank couldn't move. Some historians believe this wasn't a mistake at all. It may have been deliberate sabotage. Leonardo often worked for powerful rulers, and he might have feared that his invention would be misused. By adding a hidden flaw, he ensured no one could build it without fully understanding his notes. When modern teams corrected the gear system and built a replica, the tank rolled forward exactly as intended. It showed that Leonardo had imagined armored vehicles centuries before tanks became a terrifying reality of modern warfare. The parachute. A triangular parachute opens against the sky, slowing a skydiver's fall. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't only interested in war machines, he also dreamed about the possibility of flight. Alongside sketches of wings and gliders, he designed a remarkable parachute. His version looked like a pyramid, a linen canopy stretched over wooden poles, forming a triangular shape. Leonardo wrote in his notes that a person equipped with this device could jump from any height without injury. For centuries, many doubted him. The design seemed too strange, too rigid, and too heavy to work. But in the year 2000, British skydiver Adrian Nicholas decided to test it. He built a parachute exactly as Leonardo had drawn it, climbed to 10,000 feet, and leapt from a plane. To everyone's astonishment, the parachute opened smoothly, slowed his descent, and carried him safely to the ground. It proved that Leonardo had understood the principles of air resistance long before modern physics explained it. What makes this story even more impressive is that Leonardo's parachute came almost 300 years before the first modern parachutes were invented. Once again, his imagination leapt into the future, creating a life-saving device that would eventually become essential for pilots, skydivers, and explorers of the skies. The revolving bridge soldiers carrying and placing a portable wooden bridge across a river, then rolling it away. In times of war, speed and mobility can decide the outcome of a battle. Leonardo da Vinci knew this well, which is why he designed his ingenious revolving bridge. Unlike permanent stone bridges, his invention was lightweight and portable. A group of soldiers could wheel it into position, rotate it across a river or moat, and then remove it just as quickly once their army had crossed. The bridge was made of wood and balanced with counterweights, allowing it to be raised or lowered with minimal effort. This gave armies the ability to surprise their enemies, striking from unexpected directions without being slowed by natural obstacles. In an era when rivers and ditches often served as strong defensive barriers, Leonardo's bridge gave commanders an entirely new tactical advantage. Modern militaries later adopted portable bridges based on the same principle. Even today, engineers use foldable and mobile bridge designs to move troops and vehicles quickly across water or rough terrain. Leonardo's revolving bridge might not have been as flashy as his flying machines or robots, but it was a perfect example of his practical genius, solving real problems with clever engineering centuries before anyone else. The helicopter Leonardo's aerial screw sketch slowly spinning, morphing into a modern helicopter taking off. Among all of Leonardo da Vinci's inventions, none captures the imagination more than his flying machine known as the aerial screw. Picture a giant screw made from bamboo and linen, designed to spin rapidly and push against the air below it. Leonardo believed that if this spiral rotor was turned quickly enough, the machine could lift off the ground, much like a modern helicopter. In his time, the materials and engines needed to power such a device didn't exist. But his design showed an understanding of aerodynamics far ahead of the 15th century. Centuries later, engineers tested small-scale models of the aerial screw. To their surprise, it actually generated lift. Of course, not enough to carry a person, but it proved that Leonardo's vision was rooted in real science. The aerial screw represents his endless fascination with human flight. Just as he studied birds and sketched wings for gliders, he also imagined vertical flight, something humanity wouldn't achieve until the 20th century. While helicopters today are far more advanced, their basic principle, spinning blades creating lift, was something Leonardo had already glimpsed. It was proof that his mind truly soared above his own time. From self-propelled carts to scuba suits, from mechanical knights to flying machines, Leonardo da Vinci's inventions were more than sketches. Many of them worked exactly as he imagined, even though they were designed centuries before the world was ready for them. Leonardo was not only a painter or an engineer, he was a thinker who lived in the 15th century but dreamed like someone from the future. His notebooks reveal a mind that saw possibilities where others saw limits. Whether it was conquering the skies, exploring the seas, or building machines that moved on their own, he pushed the boundaries of human imagination. Today, his ideas still inspire scientists, engineers, and dreamers all around the world. They remind us that innovation often begins with a sketch, a question, or a bold idea that seems impossible. If you enjoyed this journey into Leonardo's genius, please don't forget to comment below, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories from history